End of dock, not to be replaced. He even wrote it in his own handwriting. And he went beyond the DEC permitted activities. The photographs show that he replaced that pier. And in addition, you'll see highlighted on his own drawing that he used copper chromiated arsenic chemically treated lumber on all of the supporting structure of the dock, with the exception of the pilings, which are Greenheart. Those are not chemically treated. But everything above the water line, all the dock structure, is all CCA chemically treated lumber. And here's the code of town, section 255 5-51I. CCA and other treated wood, no natural resources special permit which is required for projects or activities in tidal waters shall allow the use of wood which has been treated with copper chromiated arsenate, ACQ, or creosote, unless it can be shown that no reasonable alternative material will serve the purpose. And there are other alternative materials that can be used. And for the record as well, I won't go into the detail of this, but this is a letter from the East Lake Association to the Zoning Board of Appeals, who will be reviewing the application, I'm sorry for dropping that, for that natural resources special permit. This is also a photograph of the study area that is being undertaken directly in front of this parcel by Cornell, the town, the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. This is a highly sensitive environmental area. Now, also in the article that was published on the internet, Mr. Grimes says that he doesn't store any equipment on this site. Well, I'm sorry to have to tell you that's not true. Here are some more photographs that clearly depict cranes, loaders, excavators, all with their booms down or in the park position. Yes, he does. He does indeed store equipment on this site regularly. And the reason why is because Mr. Grimes does not have a land-based operation in the town of East Hampton. He's located up in Bridgehampton, which is over 22 miles by road from this site. So when he does a job in Montauk or an area close to this, it's more beneficial economically for him to drive and use this parcel, even though it's not zoned industrial, to use it industrial. And when I mentioned before he was importing 24 truckloads a day of material up to that site, you have to consider the traffic that that creates. Because for every 20, that's a dead-end road, it's 3 miles approximately from Route 27, and for every truckload that goes up there full, returns empty. Then you have to get an empty truck to go up there to load, to take the material away, and it returns full. So every truckload that he imports to that property, you can multiply that by 4. So those 24 truckloads per day actually multiply up to 96 truckloads per day in our neighborhood. And this isn't even zoned for this use. He's been running people off the road with this activity, and there are a lot of complaints that we've called the police, we've called Mr. Grimes, we've spoke amongst ourselves how to handle this, and we've remained quiet for a while here now, and this has all come to a head because I guess it's just the timing of it all. But here's some more other construction activity at the site, heavy commercial activity. Here's another picture of cranes, you know, parked right on the dune at the edge of the water, set up.
Are these all like taken at the same time?
No, these are a small sample taken over approximately 2.5, 3 years.
Yeah.
I have hundreds of
I was on the
photographs.
site years ago, and it's been used to store this sort of stuff, plus a barge in 3 sections, I believe, for years.
Well,
For the record, right? Photos?
yes. I have to say that I've lived here for 35 years. There's a fishing station, that yellow building that was built by Richard Shea back in the 60s. He operated as a a boat rental yard. And that ended in the 60s. In the 70s, 80s, 90s, and the early 2000s, that whole place sat in disrepair. And that's a well-known fact around Montauk. It wasn't used for anything. Occasionally, maybe somebody would go in there and drop something off, but it wasn't used as intensely as...
We did have the stuff in there for at least 3 years ago.
For at least
Longer.
3 years now, because when we had the inlet marina application being heard by the planning board, I was keenly aware of everything going on in that area, and there was no activity there. And that was 6 years ago, would you say, Brad, when you were on it?
6 years ago.
About 6 years ago. And just for the record, you know, we don't have anything against Inlet Marina. We don't have anything against Mr. Grimes either, other than the fact that he's engaged in an activity down there that's prohibited by town law, state law, maybe even the county planning department. That's within the area of an airport, a county park. I'm sure the county planning commission has something to say about this. And the hazards that this activity creates, not only to the neighborhood, but to the environment. He's running gangbusters. Now, if Mr. Grimes is allowed to dump material of unknown origin on this waterfront parcel, if he's allowed to build docks out of copper chromated arsenate, well, why isn't everybody else allowed to do that? Why do other businesses like Mr. Mendelman? You can't use CCA in the construction of your dock.
You can only use it if there's no alternative. And you have to ask the planning board or
Beforehand.
somebody beforehand.
Or it's
Howard,
above this tidal
Just,
flow.
thank you. Photos are wonderful.
Bill, please, I have 2 more minutes. Now, this town board last week entertained Mr. Grimes when he presented his side of the case. And I'm only asking equal time. And they even went beyond that fact by meeting as a public body, a quorum, without public notice at this site.
We invited the press, Harry.
The press was
and
there.
everyone who was in the room was invited.
Well, you know something? If it was posted like it should have been under the open
Harry,
meetings law,
I agree with you.
I would, well, you don't have to, Pete.
Harry, I'm not trying to
There's
cut
no
you off. I
violation.
just had some questions,
You
that's
don't,
all.
let me just finish, please, Mr. Supervisor.
okay.
You don't have to agree with that, Pete, because anything you people do, I'll make this clear now. You want to make an act, you want to make a code change, you want to go ahead and try to permit this, we're going to file an Article 78 because it's actionable. Because
You can threaten all you want, okay?
I'm not threatening,
I'm
Pete.
telling you that I was very careful. I followed the open meetings law. We are allowed to do what we did. We made no decisions on
disagree.
site. We had our attorney with us. We invited the press and every other member of the public. There's no violation.
Section 103, every meeting of a public body shall be open to the general public. Well, we weren't notified of this.
It doesn't say you have to be
Public notice.
The
notified.
meeting was notified,
May I
the meeting was
finish?
started, and then you're required to give such reasonable notice as the situation permits. And the invitation was made to the town board, they accepted it, they invited the press, there was an advance notice to the town board gave the press notice and invited them to attend. Any members of the public were welcome at the time as well.
Harry,
Section 104, let me finish, please, public notice.
No, Harry.
Every other
Harry,
meeting
Harry.
shall be given to the extent practical
Okay.
to the news media and shall be
I've been,
conspicuously posted in one or more designated
I've been
public
very
locations.
patient, Harry. This is my, no, you quiet down for a second, okay? You have just had 20-some odd minutes, if not longer, no, for a minute, okay? I'm the town supervisor, this is the town board. I will determine how long someone speaks in public comment